Hello, welcome to Quality in Online Distributed Learning. My name is David LeBlanc and I will be your moderator this week. I thought I'd start things off by giving you a short orientation to the course, just to give you an idea of how things work and how you can find your way around. Well, to begin with, if you look on the page, it's quite a simplified interface. And I think that's part of good design, but it doesn't work too well if you don't give an orientation or show people how to use the course, and that's what I intend to do right now. First off, you will have seen the Start button because you're watching this video, and this is video's access to this Start area, so I won't cover that one, but let's look at some of the other areas. The most important part of this course is probably the Can We Talk one. That's where you make contributions to the course. That's where people exchange ideas and discuss the resources that are here, as well as difficulties and challenges and I guess celebrations of success in their particular context. So let's just have a look at that now. It takes a moment to load. Right at the top, I have not a discussion, but a glossary. As we're discussing things, people tend to use a lot of terms and acronyms that might not be familiar to everybody or may mean different things in different contexts. So if you're using a term or an acronym, or if you come across something that you've read and you have to look it up, it'd be helpful if you could define that for others as well. Because believe me, if you're wondering about a term and its definition and what it might mean in a particular context, others will likely be as well. So if you clicked on the glossary, you'll see some things that are already defined. I copied things over from an instructional design best practices Moodle Meet that I had back in May this past year. And a lot of the terms, I just brought them over from that. So there's some things that are already defined. And the way you would do this is you would add a new entry. You can browse by alphabet, browse by category, browse by date, look at things up by author. You also have the ability to rate different things. So if you find something particularly useful, you can say it's awesome, that you got them thinking, good idea, very informative, good to know, or not rated at all. But it just gives the people that make that contribution a bit of an idea if something was helpful or not. So that would be great if you could do that. When you look in my course, I've got a lot of back arrows and home arrows. Back arrows just go to the previous page, and the home arrows go back to the start page or the main screen of our course. So I'm going to use my back arrow to go back. You don't have to do that. You can. This is like a breadcrumb trail up here. You could also use anything that's in blue up here as a link. But just to stay within the course, that you might find it more useful to do that. Okay, now for the discussions, and that's the main part of our course. Hopefully you've already introduced yourself. I made a link by the start button there, so hopefully you've used that or found your way here already. But this is probably the most active part of all of our Moodle Meets. It's a chance for you to say who you are, what your context is, and it gives people a chance to see compare notes sort of thing. We've got people from all over the world in this particular workshop, as we do in most, and that's quite interesting to find out how things are very much the same no matter where you are in the world. Okay, underneath that we've got a Let's Talk About It forum, and the Let's Talk About It forum addresses specifically the resources and the issues of this workshop. So this is where the main discussions about on-topic discussions about this workshop will take place. We're going to have a look at that now. So at the top, I've made a bunch of quick links that just are anchored to these discussions down here. And you can read the titles up here. So instructional design and development concerns. Again, I've got a lot of resources, and matter of fact, the same interface that I used for my instructional design best practices forum in May. But there's a lot of new information here too. Our focus in this particular workshop is more on quality, and that doesn't just involve design, but it also involves practices. So I'm interested in talking about those and hearing what other people have to say about instructional practices and how that leads to quality in your particular environment. Okay, advice for teaching and learning online. I hope you'll give some suggestions of things you found useful. I'll make some posts there as well for helpful things that we're doing in Burnaby Online and at the college. Course evaluation checklists. It's kind of self-explanatory, but I've got a few of these linked in the course, and you may want to talk about that, what you found useful, things that you found that you could not use perhaps, but that's what that's for. Academic papers and research, for those of you that can take the time. Some of these are quite short, but some of them are quite extensive as well. And this is the theory and the literature behind quality practices in distributed learning. So what defines quality? And there's some good information in there. And these are, again, suggestions on how to spruce up a course, make it more interactive and engaging to your students. So adding life to static course, I've got a few ideas. I'm sure that you'll have many, many more. This Look What I Found leads, there's a database actually that we've got. And the database is something that we are all going to contribute to. Things that you find on the web and things that you've found useful in your practice. I know that Peggy George, you're here. You had a great set of links to video graphics and freeware for graphics. And I know a lot of people found that useful. I'm wondering if you could repost that here. I was going to do it and I thought, oh, I should probably let you do it. So this is things that you find on the web that you think might be useful in improving the quality of our courses and making them more robust. Okay, I'm going to go back. That's to go to the top of the discussions. And then finally, reflections. You probably will go here at the end of the course, but it's just some closing comments about things you found useful in this course. It's a bit of an evaluation for me. Gives me feedback, things that didn't work well or worked well, and I try to use that information to build on future Moodle Meets. Okay, I'm going to go back, whoops, to the main page. Theoretical framework will appear on Saturday. It's a PowerPoint I've been working on. I've adapted information from a few PowerPoints, but this one is more geared toward the theories and the notions behind quality in distributed learning. So I'm still working on that. It should be up by Saturday at some point. And investigate. This is where I've linked resources and YouTubes and all the things that I talked about that we discussed in Let's Talk About It. These are all the resources here, and I'll show you how I've got those organized. So I've got video resources. These are links, and then of course there's a description about what you'll be seeing. Most of the ones on the top here, until you get down to the text resources, are we're in I'm losing my tongue. We're in the last workshop, the one in May, on instructional design best practices. But everything down below here is new, and this is specifically related to quality in online courses and how to evaluate them and evaluate quality and ensure quality. The first bit's checklists and things that you might be able to adapt for your own setting. Underneath that are the research papers and academic websites. And some of these are quite extensive. There's a lot of reading there, but it's well worth it if you don't feel like you have to read everything again. Just go in, read the executive summaries, find out areas of that paper that might be of interest to you or might be helpful to you, and read those parts. Come back and read them in further detail later. But just to get a good idea, a good grounding on what quality assurance is in an online setting for online courses. Okay, and I'm just going to go back. And related resources, these are also interactives. Remember I said the discussions were the most active part of our course, but I also have some related resources here that I'm hoping that you'll participate in. I've got links again back to the glossary to look what I found. So you've seen those too because they're linked in the other sections of the course on we saw a moment ago. I also have a wiki, and I had this linked as well within the Start Here button in our page. And I'm hoping that you'll use this as a reflection area, that you can just make comments and reflections on some of the things you've been reading and seeing. And this is more of a personal thing, but it's meant for others to look at it and to see they share similar ideas or similar notions. So unlike a discussions where it's back and forth, this one is more your own personal reflections. I'm hoping people will read one another's and gain some ideas and some insight from those. You do have the ability to rate these as well. So you can rate one another's posts and just if you found them helpful and things. Okay, I'm going to go back. I've also included 2 surveys that come with Moodle. If you're on a Moodle environment, it'll give you an idea of certain surveys that you can use with your students to find out how ready they are for online learning and get them ready for online learning. And it also, that's this one, Attitudes to Thinking and Learning Survey, and this one, Constructivist Online Learning Environment Survey. And this asks them a lot of questions, a little bit more extensive than the first one I just showed you, I've just mentioned, but just about how people think critically about their environment and what kinds of supports they're looking for. I'll let you go through that. And it'll give you some information, maybe and some insight into yourself about online learning and your own readiness, or for your students, you might want to construct something like that similar. If you're in a Moodle environment, they're there for you to use. You can just add them as a resource, as an activity. But if you're not, you might want to use this, construct a similar survey. Okay, let me go back to the main page. And the reflections area is for the end of this workshop, or when you're ready to leave the workshop. And that's, again, just where you give me some feedback. And I use that to improve the course or get ideas there, what went well and what went wrong. Now, I just want to go back to Can We Talk, because I know I missed a couple of discussion areas. I flew over that a little quickly. Okay, so we've seen Please Introduce Yourself. We've seen Let's Talk About It. There's a Help Wanted forum, and I'm hoping you'll use this if you have questions about how things work, or if something's bothering you, mainly with the environment or with the interface itself. And I will, of course, jump in and try to respond to those, but I'm hoping everyone will chip in. So if you see something posted that you think you could give a reasonable help to, or you might have an idea how to help that person out, I'm hoping you'll reply to the posts that are made here, because I don't always see them all, and it's more timely when things are answered quickly. So please contribute to that. You can start out by clicking to add a new discussion topic if you've got if you want help with one particular area. Let me go back. Okay, we also have a social forum, and the social forum is an area where you can have off-topic discussions. I always put a social forum in all of my courses, and the reason for that is, I'm trying not to sneeze, I'm going to sneeze. Students want an outlet for to socialize. And in a face-to-face classroom, of course, they can do that in the hallway, they can do that on break and then during lunch. But in an online class, it seems a little bit more difficult. People don't want to detract from the relevant discussions, the discussions that are relevant to the topics that are being discussed in a course. But you do need, I believe, to provide an outlet for students to talk about hockey or talk about politics or something that's off topic. This allows for a lot of community building and a lot of greater engagement and a sense of agency or closeness to one another amongst your participants. So it's a really good thing to add. And I've got it here because I think it's a good feature of good instructional design. And I think there was just one more there, and it was the announcements. Let's have a look. Our server is slowing down. It must be busy. There we go. And certainly it's the announcements form. And this is where either I or the other facilitators that are helping out with this Moodle Meet will make announcements about upcoming events, new things that have been added to the course, and that sort of thing. And it's just a regular news forum for Moodle. The only thing with this is it's a one-way broadcast. It's from the facilitators to you. So this isn't really a discussion. It's just for announcement purposes. Okay, that's basically a quick tour of our course. If you have any concerns or questions about how things work, if you're not sure how to do a post or that, if you have questions about how to participate more actively in the course, but you're wanting to know how a particular activity works, please post those in the help forum, and that's where most of us can respond to you quite quickly. I hope you enjoy the workshop. I'm looking forward to hearing and learning more about you and some of the challenges you face in your particular context, and how you ensure quality, and what kind of priority that is where you work. And I'm hoping through our sharing and interacting that we can all learn a lot and improve our practice. Okay, enjoy the conference or the workshop.